We move on to sports now. Here's Charles Eruka.
This is the ultimate redefined for men.
Welcome to Sports News. President Muhammadu Buhari has rewarded sportsmen, women and officials who brought honor to the country in the last 7 months. The president also rewarded the 1985 class of under-16 boys who won the inaugural FIFA Cadet World Cup title while he was military head of state. Other athletes include World Scrabble champion Wellington Jigere, boxer Olariwaju Durodola, the under-17 world champions and the under-23 Africa Cup of Nations winners. Various monetary rewards including 2 million naira each for the under-16 FIFA World Cup winners in 1985, 1.2 million naira for the 2015 FIFA under-17 World Cup winners, and 500,000 each for the Africa under-23 Cup of Nations winners were doled out by the president.
The athletes and footballers file out one after the other for group photo and presidential handshake. The president urges the sports sector to keep up the momentum of success at all times and in all competitions. He says, but for the dwindling economy, he would have spoiled these young lads the more.
What we are offering you today is not payment for compensation for winning laurels for your country. Rather, it is a token of appreciation for your efforts and patriotism while competing for your fatherland.
Each member of the 1985 team will get 2 million naira, while their coaches will smile home with 1.5 million naira each. Members of the Victoria's 2015 side will go home with 1.2 million each, and the coaches will receive 900,000 naira each. The assistant coaches are also rewarded with 600,000 naira each. A member of the Dream Team that won the Under-23 African Nations Cup in Senegal last year gets 600,000 naira each, while the coaches go home with 500,000 naira each. Some of the beneficiaries expressed their feelings about the gesture.
At the end, what we have struggled for, every one of us for over 30 years, has come to pass today, happening as big as a miracle. And this is to show that miracle still happens.
It feels as if we've been vindicated, in a way that we've been crying, this thing, they've not done this, they've not done that. But eventually, he has come out after 30 years to redeem this promise. It is unbelievable. It is not all about money. It's actually acknowledging what you have done.
Well, I think it's a good thing. The most important thing is that the athletes, they were privileged to achieve success in whatever they are doing, representing Nigeria. And it's good that the president, were able to make our time today and host everybody.
For the organizers of the show and other well-meaning Nigerians, this gesture by the president should challenge Nigerian youths to strive for excellence at all times.
Our reward system, which hitherto would have been neglected, had been revived. The president, you could see the emotion he displayed when he was relating with the 1985 team. You could see the personal attachment he had to them. That is to say that the president believed that you must reward appropriately anything that one has done good.
It's not about money, it's not about the amount of money given. It's the fact that you were acknowledged and regarded, and you could see that he came quite on time and he actually did all what he said he was going to do. So we are really, really encouraged. And it will trigger not just football, the Football Federation, other federations to do more for the country.
A minute silence was observed for the souls of those who departed, whose relations were on hand to receive the awards on their behalf. Chukwuma Onwekusi, Channels Television News.
And in club football, Arsene Wenger says Mesut Ozil is available for selection for Sunday's match against Chelsea. The German midfielder missed out against Stoke last week with a toe problem, but is set for a swift return against the Blues. Another player likely to feature is Alexis Sanchez, who has been sidelined with a hamstring injury since November. According to Wenger, the Chile forward is in contention for a return to action, having shown positive signs in training throughout the week. That's it on Sports News. It's back to Ijoma with the rest of the news at 10.
This is the ultimate redefined for men.
There's a health scare in Brazil now that new figures show a further rise in the number of babies born with abnormally small heads to mothers infected with the Zika virus. Here's Cynthia Are with more.
Thank you. Zika is transmitted by the bite of a specific mosquito, which also spreads dengue fever. Brazil is experiencing what is believed to be the largest known outbreak of Zika. The health ministry has confirmed that the virus has already killed 5 babies in the country, while another 44 deaths are being investigated. Then an inquiry has found that the murder of ex-Russian spy Alexander Litvinenko in 2006 in the United Kingdom was probably approved by President Vladimir Putin. According to the inquiry, President Putin is believed to have signed off the poisoning of Mr. Litvinenko with polonium-210 in part due to personal antagonism. The UK Home Secretary deems the murder a blatant and unacceptable breach of international law.
Mr. Litvinenko's murder was a truly terrible event. I sincerely hope that for the sake of Marina and Anatoly Litvinenko, for the sake of Mr. Litvinenko's wider family and friends, and for the sake of justice, that those responsible can be brought to trial.
That's the foreign news wrap-up. The news at 10 continues shortly.
Thanks a lot, Cynthia. And the main news again. The United Nations Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon has asked world leaders to finance Africa on energy development. Mr. Ban made the call at the World Economic Forum in Davos, where he asked the international community to quickly ratify the historic agreement reached at the last climate change deal in Paris. The National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Ulisa Mitu, has again been arraigned by the EFCC, this time for alleged destruction of evidence. And the UK Home Secretary Theresa May has accused Russia's President Vladimir Putin of allegedly approving the assassination of ex-Russian spy Alexander Litvinenko. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks a lot for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Onyato. You have a good night.